Hey everybody, it's Matt. I just wanted to let you know that we lowered the price on our Patreon, so if you'd like to listen to our bonus episodes, you can now do so for only $2 a month. You'll get 2 episodes for $2, and that's patreon.com/madeupmoviespod. You can also find the link on our Twitter, which is at madeupmoviespod. And yeah, on our Patreon, you'll get bonus episodes where we go to the other dimension, we go to Mammoth Video, and we pick up some really rare made-up movies that you might not have heard of. There's a bunch of lore, so if you like that stuff, you're gonna love it. So check it out. Only $2. It's a pretty good deal. All right, bye. Y'all hear that?
Made up movies, made up movies.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. Made up movies, made up movies. Made up movies. Movies in your face now. Come and get an earful. Made up movies, made up movies.
Hello and welcome to Made Up Movies. I'm your host, Mike Kohler. With me, as always, is the Matt Shore of my Mike Kohler, Matt Shore. Here he is.
That was accurate. That intro was actually accurate.
Not creative
I
today.
am that to your that. That's
It's just
crazy.
is, very on the nose today.
That's
Hi,
right.
Matt. How are you?
I'm good. We forgot to introduce the show last time, I realized, much later.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is Made Up Movies. We take suggestions from you for fake movies that don't exist in our dimension. Then we go to the other dimension. We actually watch them with our amazing movie goggles. So we take fake movies and make them real in our minds, and we review them for you.
Yeah.
First,
And it's still
first off,
Spookaween has Spookathon.
Oh,
It's still Halloween. Halloween. Hellraiser. Watch out for him. He's going to get you
it's
with his needle.
Made Up Ghoulies,
Made up
Spookaween.
Spook time.
Wait, what
Your
is
house
it?
is haunted. There's somebody. The call is coming from inside the house.
The call is coming from inside my pants.
And
Do you
it's
answer?
me. No,
Roll a charisma check.
I don't want to.
So it's Mega Mummy Ween or something. Our fans are called
We're
mummies.
still
It just
working
makes
on
sense.
the name, but we will pin it down by the 30th.
Vote on Twitter. If you have a made up movie you'd like us to review, go to @madeupmoviespod on Twitter and send it to us there. And say which name you like. I'm Bat Gore, and this is Mike Killar.
Whoa!
For Halloween. See, it's like
Spooky.
Simpsons. I just really, if you listen to last week's episode, Kolar, I got into a bit of a tiff about the fact I lost my debit card at Popeyes.
Oh, is this thing? This is what's happening? Okay.
Yeah, this is what's happening.
Okay.
And Kolar said it was probably my fault that the card was probably inside my underwear
I'd like
drawer
to
or something.
hear the audio on that because I don't think that's exactly what I said. Well, apparently your system failed this time, Matt. It just seems weird that, because if I'm working at a fast food restaurant, my thing is swipe the card, hand it back, swipe the card, hand it back. Like, that happens all day. I felt like if I didn't hand it back, I would be very aware of that.
Okay, I'll try to pull it, but I'll probably be too lazy. Just listen to the previous episode.
Okay.
He refused to believe that this could possibly be a fast food worker's error, putting the blame on me.
No.
And I went to Popeyes. I waited the customary 45 minutes in the drive-thru line, and I got my card back because they had my card.
All right,
like
but
I said.
I did not believe you. I just said maybe
You did not believe. You're don't both sides this.
I'm
Don't-
both sides, and I'm saying, first of all, it is both of your faults because he didn't give it back, but you didn't know he didn't give it back.
I didn't know he'd give it back because I was helping him cheat his employer out of punishing him on a different thing.
Cheaters don't get ahead. That's karma, baby.
Plus,
You
I was
should've-
also had to remind him that he forgot my drink as well. So I was discombobulated. It's not my fault.
You
man.
should know. This guy can't forget. He doesn't remember
Oh,
drinks.
my
He's
God.
not going to remember cards.
This is classic Meatball, okay? Listen, Meatball. Kolar's new name is Meatball.
it
We
is
learned
not.
that last episode.
It is not.
So, Dr. Professor Meatball over here thinks I'm always at fault. Okay,
I didn't
okay,
say
Kolar.
that. I
If
didn't
you're
say.
so
I don't think it's fault. I think it's just an accident. It's like
so when it's my fault, there can be fault, but if it's someone else's fault, there's nobody's at fault. This is why Ask Judge Kolar
I'm
is
just
such
saying,
a meatball.
I'm just
segment.
saying maybe it's not that big a deal in the big scheme of the world.
Oh, it's a big deal because you fucked the donkey on this one.
What?
Okay.
That's not a saying.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bear. Okay, so let's
You're
why
being
don't-
a bit of a bear.
Okay, well maybe I am. But you're the one in Chicago, so you're a bit of the bear. That's what I have to say.
God, I'm just so stressed out with my arm tattoos. Being a chef's hard.
What the hell's that?
What is that?
Sorry, I don't know if you heard that, but my Alexa is going off in the background. It says Kolar is a meatball, and he doesn't know what he's talking about. That's what I heard.
Weird.
I'm not
thing
gaslighting.
for Alexa to say.
That's weird, but it's 100% true. So if you're Professor Meatball over there, why don't you go ahead and give us your very funny opening bit, like you always do.
I got opening bits. What? Okay, I prepared one. What? So what's the what? I guess, Matt, what do you like when you think about doors and door handles? What do you think of when you think of doors?
Are you just looking at the door right now?
No. But we'll move on. So
wait, let me answer the question.
Oh yeah, sorry.
I think about door handles,
yeah.
I think something like a round knob I want to grab.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, me too.
I don't care for those vertical levers or those very confusing push or pull entrance doors. It's like, which is it?
The ones that say push or pull?
It's like, oh, I'm sorry, I have to read a book now to get into a building? Fuck you.
I didn't come here to read. I came here to get inside this building.
I was elected to lead, not to read.
No, that's not what I was talking about. I was thinking about more about what about to are hairbrushes weird? Hairbrushes are a weird thing, don't you think?
Are you just looking around the room? Did you even prepare
I prepared something. I was seriously prepared. Like it's spooky Halloween. It's like hair. Whoa, hair is spooky.
You know how I feel about hairbrushes. I'm bald. I can't enjoy them as I once did.
Isn't that spooky though? That your hair just falls, it dies. Things in the hair just dies.
Oh my god, that is scary.
It is. It's scary. And you know what's even scarier? Your hair keeps growing after you die. Ooh, you'll be in the ground.
What?
Still,
Is that true? Did Babs tell you that?
Nah, it's real. It's real. It's a real urban myth. That's real.
Wait, what?
It's real.
A real urban myth? Yeah. Are you writing a Poltergeist article like me for Collider?
All right, no, seriously. I was actually thinking what's the deal with podcast microphones? It's like,
okay, you are literally looking at shit around the room.
Yeah, maybe I am. Maybe I didn't prepare a bit because I'm not a professor. I'm not a professor like you.
Meatball! Everyone at home, throw a meatball at your podcast.
Stop trying to make meatballs stick. Stop trying to make meatballs stick.
I mean, I'm gonna make fetch happen just like I always do.
I'm gonna come up with a nickname
meatball
for you.
Is at it again.
It's gonna be mean. It's gonna be a mean name.
Mine isn't mean. It's accurate.
It makes you sound like a greasy meat guy.
No, it just means you're a big, dumb fucking meatball who can't prepare a bit for a comedy show that you do theoretically 30% of the work on.
Wow. 25, if that. First of all, I don't even know if it's that high. No, but seriously, what is the deal? How's your podcast mic these days? Is it good?
Oh my god! Hey, speaking of Kolar doing work, check out our Instagram. That's at Made Up Movies Pod. Kolar's actually been doing some good work on that.
I deleted it. It's gone.
What?
I just got.
No, you didn't. That's a bit.
It's a bit. You should check it out.
Okay. It's still up there, and we could use some more followers. It's a new account, and he's making some cool videos on there with some cool effects and some fun clips from the show. Good way to share clips from the show to people and request your favorite clips on there too. But Kolar, you gotta come up with bits for the show. This isn't some clown shoe operation where you can just wander in.
Well, I thought, what if we just didn't do bits and we just went right to the movie instead? Wouldn't that be nice for people?
Oh, has Reshoot Movie Podcast been getting to you too with their private complaints? They're like, sometimes I just wish you would stop joking around and get to the good stuff, the movies.
That's
and I'm
not
like,
what
none of this is good stuff.
Jokes.
It's all bits.
It's all bits. Everything is a bit. That's what people don't realize about life. Life is one big bit.
Life is like a bit of chocolate.
See, that's a bit
Never
right there.
Know what you got? Oh fuck, it is.
Yeah. Well, let's watch.
Right,
let's watch a movie since I didn't prepare.
Okay. Meatball.
Well, here's a little thing. Here's a little meta thing. The bit was I didn't prepare a bit. Oh, get it?
Okay, now you're letting them behind the Iron Curtain.
We'll delete that. We'll delete that later.
Yeah, don't ever Don't
Daffodil.
ever share that.
Okay.
Okay, now the word daffodil is going to be in the recording because I'm not going to delete that, and they're going to know our secret words. Oh my god!
I feel like we're getting a little too meta. We're getting a little too meta.
Listen to Bunker Brothers for more information. All right. So let me get the old meatball spinner out here, and we're gonna pick a movie. Wow, this is a lot grosser than using
delicious sounding ping pong ball.
Ooh, they roast while you rotate. Okay, so it's the George Foreman meatball spinner, and we're just gonna rotate this.
It heats them evenly, which is nice. Just squishify it 25%.
Okay, and here's a juicy meatball right here.
Can I eat that? I'm a meatball. I fucking love meatballs.
No, don't eat it. Oh, great. Now we can't do that movie. Okay. Gotta get another meatball from this thing.
I just love meatballs because I'm a big fat idiot meatball.
Oh, no. Hey, that's my bit. Give that back. Okay, so our movie today is number 283. It is... you got a lot of suggestions in the box.
A lot of meatballs in there.
Okay, this one comes from Aaron Kelly. To Aaron is human, to Kelly divine. And
is that a podcast or a person's name?
I think it's, unlike most of our suggestions, it is not a lame attempt at trying to get their own podcast on the air. It is actually a human person's name. Well, I'm not going to assume he's human. He could be Fae. But F-E-Y, a Fae creature, ethereal. That wasn't a slur. And his suggestion is Helium-3, or I should say Hellium-3.
Oh, no.
Hellium-3. I'm reading that now. I thought it was Helium-3, but it's Hellium-3. And the entire movie description is cosmic horror.
Oh, that's it.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. So, thank you for that vivid description right there. I really phoned it in. And we're going to put on our
suggestions from podcasts and not real people.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? I'm all for podcasts. You know what? Get your self promo on here because, jeez, 2 words. I guess I prefer 2 words to, when they write the whole movie and they're like, and then at the end, in the last sentence, and it's like, or the whole thing is just about their podcast. I'm like,
there's a fine balance in between, and
it's
to do it
2
perfect.
sentences long, mash up 2 different genres,
and we have to like it. We have to like it too. If we don't like it,
don't tell them that.
Oh, sorry.
we don't kick ideas off the list because they
we
suck.
Like them all.
We don't prioritize funny ideas over bad ones.
There's not an Excel spreadsheet with all these on there.
If we did, don't tell them about the Destiny Spinner.
Oh, sorry.
If we didn't prioritize funny ideas, how did Spark get on here? So
that was our first one. It was sort of just
we didn't know what we were doing. That's Spark's the reason we have to prioritize funny ones.
We didn't know what was going on. I thought everything was just Bunker Brothers.
So let's put on our helmets and watch this movie. Okay.
Can I eat that meatball that you're
Yes,
holding?
you can. It's got Sharpie on it, but
I don't care. I'm a big fat idiot, remember?
It's made of Icelandic meat.
I don't care what it is. I'm gonna eat it. It's so gross. It's warm. But not in a good way.
Uh-oh. Meatball. Okay, and...
I eat what I am.
Flick. Wow. Oh, does anyone... I feel like my brain is a cooked meatball right now.
Yours is... I don't make those noises. Have you listened back?
Okay.
Matt, have you
watch
listened
it?
back to the record? Yeah, I watched. My brain doesn't do that. I just watch the movie. I fixed mine so it doesn't hurt my head.
What?
Yeah,
Fix
I tinkered
mine.
with it.
Why is mine doing this?
I don't know. It's not good.
Is it because of this fork in here? Yours doesn't have this.
I just adjusted it. I just like adjusted everything, tightened everything up so it didn't like shake on my head when we watched.
Well, I thought I got, I put all those like death sticks in there and a bunch of ants got in mine. So I used this fork to try to dig them out and the fork got wedged. So, and then the fork got hit by lightning because I was wearing it out in the rain. I was trying to do a MacArthur Park thing.
Your nose bleeds so much after we watch the movie.
But that's just because I'm a horny anime character. I always think about Bowsette. Uh,
Wow, Hellium-3. Holy moly.
Hellium-3.
Hellium-3.
So, Hellium-3 was a sci-fi horror movie set in the briny deep of outer space. You can say briny deep in
I don't know.
space.
That's how I describe
SpongeBob!
outer space. Outer space is more of a vacuum where there is nothing for a long time.
So it's very clean. It's like a Roomba.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of dust and stuff, but it's still like it's few and far between. Most of it's empty
There's
space.
even more space dust.
Yeah, it's just so no. Briny deep is not a good way to describe space. It's probably one of the worst ways to describe space.
What if there was a salt mine asteroid out there? You don't know. You don't know.
Maybe. But they're in space. But you're making it sound like they're underwater.
There is an asteroid in this movie. They go off. Basically, it all takes place in sort of like a Nostromo. You know what I mean? The spaceship in Alien, right?
Right. It's heavily influenced by Alien and what's that Sam Neill movie?
Event Horizon. Yeah.
Event Horizon. Yeah.
So yeah, this seems like it's like it was like a mid 2000s. We don't know for sure because there's no description written, Aaron. But it's like mid 2000s. Effects are CGI, not too bad though. Pretty good effects. Cool, good. Like going by like lots of like vistas. I don't know. Can there be vistas in outer space? I think so. Vantages of like big boiling suns in the distance and strange planets. But there was
strange planets that they passed and stuff. And helium is a cool looking element apparently because I thought it was just the third movie. It's actually an element they're looking for. Helium.
Yeah, it's not the third in the Helium series.
No.
It's like it's a specific kind of element called helium.
They need it to, I guess, repower, like to save Earth's like to power everything. It's the most like powerful. It's like they're looking for fusion, essentially, is what I gather.
Right.
Like,
it's the same. It's basically the Val Kilmer movie, The Saint, in outer space.
Right. Yeah. They need this one specific element. And it's basically makes perpetual motion possible or something like that. Who knows?
Yeah,
it's
right. It makes Rube Goldberg devices even more powerful. But
one thing hits another thing, and it does something stupid.
It knocks down a bunch of domino. Yeah, there's a big sequence at the end of this movie where they need a Rube Goldberg device to work perfectly, and because they don't have one on hand, they find an old box of Mousetrap, the board game, and they're just like waiting for it to go off. But the main idea is that, I'm sorry. What I thought was interesting about the search for the helium element, Hellium-3, was that our heroes on the ship was like a crew of sort of like put upon blue collar space miner kind of guys.
It's Alien. It's Alien. There's a lady,
there's
a black guy. There's
wow.
I'm saying it's what Alien. Wow. This is like classic 2000.
That's all you saw, huh? You didn't see the fact that he was wearing a cowboy hat and constantly chewing on straw.
I thought that was an interesting choice for a black guy in the early 2000s. I feel like.
The fact that he's constantly singing the Firefly theme song for some reason.
That was weird.
He kept making references to the fact that the show ran for 25 years. They made some weird choices about the future.
I really like Firefly.
Yeah. They seemed like they had a chip on their shoulder about Firefly stealing some of their ideas. So they're like, well, it can't be funny anymore. So we just have to dip into the horror darkness thing. But what I wanted to say is that, so they have sort of, the entire crew sort of has a chip on their shoulder about the fact that they have to get this Hellium-3 to save Earth because all of them were born on a space station.
Yeah, fuck Earth.
They basically have never seen Earth, and they're like, they're part of like an impoverished class that can't return.
It's sort of it's similar to the Expanse, where like the Expanse people are born around an asteroid and they could give a shit less about Earth, but because Earth is like powerful, they enrich with their fucking earthy goldness. That's what they think they're in charge.
Exactly.
It's like Great Britain back in the day,
but I've heard it's very, very good.
It's like you pay us taxes. And then these people are like, well, no taxation without representation. We'll throw your space tea into the briny deep.
See, it all comes full circle.
It all comes full circle.
That makes sense, right? The briny deep.
But instead of doing that, they just say, "Okay, we'll do it." you pay our bills,
right? It's like the company in Alien. It's like they don't have a lot of choice in the matter. They're just sort of like, it seems like the space station where they live normally is like completely corporate owned, and so like they're sort of in these like Fifth Element style like living pods for like very small apartments.
It's an old mining town in space. It's
this
tale
like
as old as time.
Yeah, right. And it's like this like rickety one-eyed alien comes to their door and like recruits them and is like, "You are here for another mission." And like it's they live a pretty dystopic life. And so they're constantly like, they've affected this sort of like personality trait where they're all like, "Fuck Earth. Yeah, who cares? Who needs Earth?" But like
they're a bit racist towards Earth, if I'm being honest.
yeah, well, they're the Terrans, the terrestrials, or whatever they call them. They're like they're basically what they consider like hoity-toity West Coast libs. The kind who eat babies at their fast NATO orgies or whatever.
Kiss their precious ground. And live in their precious sky above them.
I'm recognizing that a lot of the movies that we like on this show have some sort of class warfare element to them.
I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. Our chaotic libertarian is showing, I guess.
I don't know. Maybe there's just something to do with it. Everything's about class warfare if you think about it, sure.
That's even diabetes. I was learning about that yesterday from the New York Times. Look it up.
New York Times. Okay, you fucking lib.
Well, I needed something to clean my monocle, and New York Times happened to be there amongst my
right
pile
before
of
I did the New
mentions.
York Times crossword and ate my avocado toast. I read an article first.
For a while, there was like a period of a month where Mike Price and I, the Simpsons writer, a friend of ours from who was a guest on Bunker Brothers a couple times, would compete to see who could figure out the New York Times crossword first.
I heard it's hard. I heard it's pretty hard.
It gets progressively harder throughout the week. It's not
Sunday's the hardest day, correct? Right?
I believe so. Yes, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it starts off fairly friendly on Mondays and then gets progressively more difficult. But yeah, it's fun.
Just like the work week. It gets Monday's okay, then every day after that's just worse.
That's what?
When you're a poor space miner, I'm saying.
When you're a poor space miner who can't tell the difference between night and day because you're constantly in the briny deep.
I'd be so mad if I lived in space and I had to do the 365-day calendar on Earth, and it's like there's no days here.
Yeah, why would you have to do that? Because there's no rotation.
February. Fuck off.
Yeah. You want it when? It's like, sorry, I don't have those days here.
I don't have days here, idiot.
It's like, what are they gonna fucking do? Come get you?
Yes, in this situation they do. They're very powerful.
I mean, I guess in this space, in this ship, or their ship is also corporate run. Like they're basically like indentured servants for this corporation. It's almost like that Black Mirror thing with their exercise bikes, where it's like they can earn points to buy stuff or whatever, but it's all through the same corporate system. Like their money is basically a rewards program for vending machines that the company also runs. So it's like they can upgrade like elements of their pod or whatever. It's like a video game for them. Yeah. It's like it's Splatoon. They can upgrade their locker.
It's been going on so long, they probably don't know the difference. It's like they're just used to it.
Right. If they actually went to Earth, they would probably be like, "So what kind of pods do you guys have?" They're like, "We have houses."
We
like,
have land
houses.
They'd freak out.
What mean you?
Also, the strong Earth gravity would crush their terrible weak lungs. Because they were born in space.
My powerful space muscles are bringing me down to Earth.
No, they have weak muscles. They have weak muscles because they're atrophy because they're in space.
No, those guys in this space station were built. I mean,
they're strong. But I'm saying, in the expanse, they are not strong. They are weak.
But there's one guy who's like the main blockhead miner, Rocco, who's sort of like their Adam Baldwin type. And so he's strong. Like... He's super strong. I feel like if he was on Earth, his powerful muscles
maybe they're like... Maybe their gravity is like they make it. They pump in gravity into the mine to make it.
Well, I mean, they have to in the space station because they're not always floating.
I'm saying maybe it's higher than Earth gravity though. Even maybe it's like that's why they're all so strong.
Is that? I mean, look, dude.
They're also short and stout and tough. They're like dwarves.
They're dwarves. This is Deep Rock Galactic right here. But what I want to say is, like, let's not wax too philosophical or scientific on what would cause what to happen, because this is still the same podcast in our episode Discourteous Machinations that spent 45 minutes trying to understand how a steam engine worked. And listening to that one back,
I do still don't know how it works. I don't know how it works.
I realized that for about 20 minutes of that I had to cut out of that discussion. I didn't understand that the coal heated the boiler, which caused the steam to go. I was like, so how does wet coal turn into steam? Like, I was so fucking... Like, I'm theoretically a college graduate. Like, theoretically.
In theory. English major, though. That doesn't count.
Yeah, right. I was wondering how the coal
shift.
was feeling. It said, ow, ow, such birdie hurt fields.
This coal reminded me of Beowulf and the Canterbury Tales.
One that April with the shore risota, the coal had burned already to the rota.
I read the Canterbury Tales so many times. It's so stupid.
I mean, the Canterbury Tales for guys like us who love filthy humor is pretty like good. proof of concept for what we do, right? It's like, see, Chaucer invented it.
Butts are funny. Farts and poops are funny.
I mean, even Shakespeare, and I remember Gary Howison from Walsh Jesuit High School, our alma mater, saying this. There's a moment in Hamlet where Hamlet lays his head on Ophelia's lap and says, "Shall we talk of country matters?" As if to say, make reference to the word cunt. And I mean, that's good. That's what I learned in high school at my Jesuit Catholic school. So if you learn something different, you suck.
Also, the boys all dressed like ladies, like classic British humor. That was fun.
Yeah. And I'm not into that.
What? I didn't say you were.
I'm just saying. I'm not. I don't secretly look.
It's fine if you are. I didn't. That's not what I was saying.
Yeah. Just thinking about it though, you know.
Oh boy. Hellium-3. Oh boy, what an element that is. Are you still thinking about it?
They should make a male Bowsette.
You know what? No, you should stop quoting tweets. Quoting your own tweets on the show.
Quoting tweets. Did I just quote tweet my own podcast? Oh man, Truth Social's gonna buzz tonight.
God, Jesus.
So let's talk about Hellium-3. Let's talk about some of this cast. So they do have sort of, you've got Rocco, who's the big beefy guy. You've got the African American cowboy guy.
You can say black, it's fine.
It's not when you say it, Meatball. And
I think African American is actually more offensive.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those things like the debate now between Native American and Indian, where it's like in Canadian Indian tribes don't like Indian, but like certain USA based. It's weird to say USA based because it's like they were here first, so not really USA based, really, but certain indigenous tribes in America have now reclaimed Indian too, and so like that's a terminology that's like almost based on the tribe and the community.
And they have to use our bullshit calendar too. They didn't have a calendar before. It's bullshit.
I know, and now it's the same thing with the Chinese. It's like I'm playing Overwatch 2, and it's like Happy Lunar New Year. No, thank you. Go back to Spaceman.
Jesus, I don't appreciate you saying Chinese like that.
Is that bad? What did I say?
Yeah, it's just
Maze Bay. Maze Bay.
Yeah, Maze Bay.
Look, like literally the last people on Earth I should offend are the Chinese, because they are. I mean, just today in the news, they're like, you don't get no microchips no more, America. So things are heating up.
China will definitely cancel you if they want to. They have that power.
They have that power. They have enough power over the U.S. economy where they're like, that person is canceled, and our government's like, we agree. Please don't. As long as we don't have to repay our debt right now, we agree.
Agree.
So apologies to China.
Thank you.
I do not wish to offend you or any of the Uyghurs you have in your concentration camps. I merely wish. What?
That's fine. Go on.
I'm sorry. I merely wish to make you happy, as well as the freestanding nation of Hong Kong and Taiwan.
All right, this is not going well
What?
at all.
I'm trying to be respectful.
We are so canceled in China. We are so canceled.
Damn it.
It's fine. They don't listen to us there anyway, I'm sure.
No, yeah. I mean, our release schedule's totally fucked up because they're crazy moon-based calendar.
Jesus. Oh boy.
Jeez
oh, boy.
Louise. I prefer Japan.
When you're looking for an element, if it's called
When you're
helium,
looking for an element, you can't go wrong with Hellium-3. To you, Kolar.
I'm saying if you're looking for an element, it's called helium. You know there's going to be trouble.
Right. I mean, it's like it's conjuring up Doom vibes with like the.
Why didn't you name
hell
it
in
something
space.
else? But I think it was named after. It was named after Professor P.H. Helium, but also
which stand for fat ass helium.
But he also disappeared mysteriously, so it's like, maybe.
Yeah, well, it's also forged in like molten space lava too. It's like
middle
Bowser's castle.
Yeah, it is like Bowser's castle. It's in the middle of the reddest sun in the galaxy. Which
they call it Mount Dumb instead of Mount Doom. No, just kidding. And this whole movie revolves around them having to throw the space ring, the I can't think of a space term for a ring, into Mount Dumb.
Mount Dumb? And that's what happens? No.
This episode is called Phoning It In, because that's the name of the movie.
No. It's called Hellium-3, and they went to the biggest, reddest sun in the galaxy to get the Hellium-3.
Well, I want to talk about the cast of the movie a little bit, because there were sort of analogs, like you said, to the Alien crew, and it felt like a mix between Firefly and Alien, because you do have sort of like you've got like this instead of like they had the captain who's sort of like the gruff guy in Alien, but he looked like is it Jeff Bridges who's the dude? Yes.
Yeah, Jeff Bridges
is Big Lebowski.
Yes.
So
yes.
Jeff Bridges at the end of Iron Man when he's like bald and has a beard, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like that's what the captain in this reminded me of. He's just sort of like a generic man's man kind of dude.
Yeah.
And they did have sort of like a Sigourney Weaver lookalike who was not.
It was, I would say, like hot Sigourney Weaver is what I would say.
What?
No
What? You don't think Sigourney Weaver is hot? Have you seen her in Galaxy Quest? I mean,
I don't. I've never found Sigourney Weaver attractive.
What?
Yeah, sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry, it's true.
We are going to have a joint FAP session later where I'm going to prove you wrong.
I don't think I think she's a great actress. I don't think she's attractive. Same with, what's her face from Halloween?
Jamie Lee?
Jamie Lee, yeah. Don't think she's
well, I don't know I don't think I've ever had a crush on Jamie Lee, but I definitely think Sigourney.
I'm not saying I have crushes on them. I'm saying like the girl in this movie was like clearly just like a model they got to play.
The girl in this movie was definitely cast for looks over talent. They're like, we can style her to look like a Sigourney type character, but she did not have Sigourney's acting chops.
We can put her in underpants.
Yeah, exactly. I can't separate well, first of all, I do think Sigourney Weaver is beautiful, and I think she's beautiful in Galaxy Quest, especially. But I also can't separate her physical attractiveness from how much I love her acting in like Ghostbusters and Alien. And all the Sigourney movies. Like I to me, she's like one of the best. But like, so I'm the wrong person to, although we're both the wrong person to judge women's looks. Like, come on.
No, but I'm a man and I can do it if I want to.
And this is The Handmaid's Tale, so
I'm a man and this is a man's podcast.
Oh no,
Ziggy zaggy, oi oi oi.
It's the Man Show. Quit your job and light a fart. Why am I doing Archie Bunker meets Peter Griffin for that?
That's not right.
It's the place where men can come together. Can you imagine how much culture has changed in our lifetime? Where like just the concept of the Man Show
is
like
is wildly offensive.
And also that, like, what was that? That was Adam Carolla and Jimmy Kimmel. And Jimmy Kimmel somehow survived having made that show and to become one of the, like, the most successful late night hosts.
Yeah,
and Adam
like,
Carolla is just like dumpster diving, and whatever.
Jimmy Kimmel is somehow like the most liberal guy ever, and Adam Carolla is just a lunatic. It kind of sucks.
Well, also, and they did that after those guys left. They did that revamp of the Man Show with
Joe Rogan and
Doug Stanhope. And again, Doug Stanhope's like greatest role lately is defending his best friend Johnny Depp during that
Also, those guys are
trial.
like weird esoteric comedians, basically. It's like not who you want to be. Fucking.
Well, but it's just weird that, like, oh, the guy who got the Man Show canceled is now the leading voice of online culture for so many people. Joe Rogan. You know what I mean?
He's my podcast daddy. That's what I say.
Oh my god.
Have you heard the most recent Joe Rogan?
I've heard 0 Joe Rogans. My understanding of Joe Rogan begins and ends with Joe on news radio, and that's where I'd like to keep it. That's my
Fear
tolerance
Factor?
for Joe
That's
Rogan.
where he ends for me is Fear Factor.
No Fear Factor for me.
What?
No
You don't like
eating
Fear Factor?
gross stuff. No, I don't want to watch people eat gross stuff.
Why?
There's
It's
enough
funny.
of that in this movie.
Wow.
Anyway, back to Hellium. So you've got this, like, I don't know. You've got Sandra, who's the
I forgot that you hate when people eat each other, and that happens a lot in this movie.
that happens a lot in this movie. Well, also because the Hellium, when they touch it, it gives them cosmic horror visions.
Yeah.
And so they keep seeing this, like, this red, hellish space Cthulhu, like, tentacles reaching into their minds and, like, touching through their skin, through their brains. And, like, they're so hungry because the company keeps them on these limited rations. And so at one point...
bread, basically.
Lambness bread. When Sauron reaches into their heads, they think everyone else is lambness bread. I mean, that's actually a pretty
delicious elven lambus bread.
And so Sandra, who's like the Sigourney Weaver, like body double, is basically she tries to grab, her gloves get burned, and so she rips them off, and then she tries to pick up this helium cube thing.
Don't try to pick up. Here's a suggestion. Don't try to pick up an unknown element with your bare hands. It's gonna
don't do it. Don't pick up helium. Just don't pick it
helium.
up.
Don't pick up helium. If you see it on the street, if you see helium on the street, don't pick it up. Leave it there.
If you see
Call
it on the
cops.
street, sitting by itself, causing cosmic horror, have pity. So yeah, she touches it, and she's starving, and she has this vision that she's eating this buffet in like some sort of Garden of Eden, and like she comes out of the vision, and she's like literally ripping apart another crew member and like eating his organs, and she like screams, but then she's also like, well, at least I'm full.
And she keeps doing it. She screams and she keeps eating it. Like it affects her, but she doesn't care.
Yeah, it was like what's his face in Slither, where he's like, I can't stop, but it's good. I can't stop. Man,
Slither,
that's actually one of my favorite scenes in that
that's
movie.
a gross movie.
I thought his performance of that was really good. What's his face? But yeah, so she's sort of traumatized by that, but is constantly eyeing the rest of the crew like they might be delicious. And, like, I thought it was a little much where they have her, like, looking at people and putting on a bib in several scenes.
Well, it's hinted at that the Cthulhu, like, is inside her mind, right? She's the one who's, like...
Well, it's like she's been permanently tainted.
Yeah. But I guess Hellium, like, travels through... Hellium somehow travels through people? Like, it's sort of like...
What I understood it to be was some sort of like almost like cosmic infection. Like
it's
all elements of helium come from some sort of like, like in Guardians of the Galaxy where there's like a living planet. Like this helium is like this. What Earth people would call it as an element is actually like remnants of this living evil god.
Actually, pretty similar to The Expanse, because in that they're trying to find an element that is basically living. So
really, that's interesting. I gotta watch this show.
It's good.
Everyone says I gotta watch this show, but yeah, it's like this thing is this dark Cthulhu, like almost like the Reapers in Mass Effect, and like it's just this big squiddish creature, but it's like bright red, Hellboyish, and like. It squeals so much. I hate that squeal it did. It's like this. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
And like
it's
they have these like insane visions of their like past and future while it's touching their mind. A little bit of art house. And like, yeah, every time they come into contact with when it comes into contact with their flesh, they become like basically incurably tainted by this thing.
Yeah.
It gives them, like the Eye of Sauron, access to their mind permanently.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
So unlike, I guess, Sigourney Weaver, the Sigourney Weaver in this movie does not become the hero because she's sort of like permanently tainted and sort of becomes.
She does
like,
wear underpants though. Oh baby.
Yeah, she does. She does wear underpants and just coat herself in blood a lot. So it's really Briscoe who's the African American cowboy who it's what we call the meatball.
Okay, well, there's what
I
you
feel
call
like even
them.
saying them there was wrong. I don't know.
It's what we call those people.
This is why it's problematic to even try to be woke. There's no chance for us. We're too old.
Just
at this
call him
point.
Briscoe the cowboy. Why you gotta keep calling
Briscoe,
her?
the cowboy of indeterminate race, was. How am
Space
I?
race. He's
How
a
am I
space race.
offending people based on a character who doesn't even exist in this dimension? That's the craziest part.
I don't know.
So Briscoe becomes sort of our protagonist in this, and he he basically jettisons. He does to fake Sigourney what's fake Sigourney or real Sigourney does to the alien in Alien. He sticks her into an escape pod and shoots her out into the sun.
Yeah.
Which for whatever reason, I guess because she's tainted by the helium already, causes a massive solar flare in the sun and sends them propelled. I guess what we should say also is that because the company controls their spaceship, it basically parks them outside this asteroid field in orbit of this sun, and it won't let them power on until they complete like a certain amount of their quota.
Right. They have to get the helium and they have to bring it back, otherwise they can't leave.
The ship can determine how much they stack, and it can analyze within the certain area. It's like, you've collected this amount, and unless they get that amount, the ship will literally let them die in space and bring their corpses back to the space station for repurposing, it says, which I guess means recycling. And I think it's implied later that part of the reason she likes eating people so much is that
Because they actually eat people?
Yeah, like the food they make is actually like in sort of a Snowpiercer kind of way. Yeah,
well,
it's
Snowpiercer was just gross bugs.
Right. I mean, delicious bugs, let's be honest.
Delicious.
But like
protein blocks.
Right, but I mean, it's like those protein gelatinous cubes, but they're made of people. Soylent Green is people.
But when that sun flare goes off, it's hinted that the entire universe is now going to be like covered in Hellium-3, isn't it? Like that's what I thought.
Well, yeah, because the burst releases a bunch of new helium cube things or crystals or whatever they are, and they sort of shoot out in different directions. I don't know if that was a setup for a sequel or just
I think
like
it has to be, because he's like, oh, good, I saved the world, and then he looks out and like there goes red over his face, and he's like,
well, I thought that was a little premature too, because there's still other people with helium on the ship, and he just thinks because he's killed one woman.
I killed one. It's fine.
I did it. Got rid of her. And I think what's also awesome about him as a hero is that he is the pilot, so he's not a scientist beyond being like the guy who runs the ship, and is sort of like a nuts and bolts, like, I'll repair the ship if things go wrong, but he's not the what do you call it? The geologist or whatever. He doesn't care about like what's happening scientifically with this like weird occult shit. He has like no patience.
Are you saying he has street smarts?
I'm saying I love his impatience with all the scientist characters trying to figure out what's going on. He's like, I'm just gonna stick her in this and jettison her into space.
I'll do the paperwork. It's fine. It's gonna
they're like, there might be some way to save her, and he's like, whatever. It's almost like he's the dude who's seen too many horror movies himself, and he's like, it's like, nobody's got time for that. We don't have time for that.
He knows the cowboy dies first in horror movies.
Right, and I actually like that because because he's like the last surviving member at the end of this movie, and is like, but basically is also kind of responsible for after everyone else gets tainted, he basically kills them all indiscriminately, but makes no effort to save them. And it's almost like it's almost like he's never liked them and was just been waiting for an excuse. And it's like, because there's that one point where the guy nearly gets tainted, but he's still wearing a glove, and so all he has is like a mild vision, and and Briscoe like picks up an axe that is there, I don't know what for, a space axe, break in case of emergency. And he picks it up and he just holds it up, and the guy's like, "Oh no, I'm fine. It's not in my head. It's not in my head." He's like,
"Get to the escape pod," and he jettisons him too. Yeah.
Maybe I should chop you a little, just to be sure.
He's playing it safe, and it's like he knows that helium is the worst element, and he's going to ruin the world, or the universe, I guess, essentially.
Look, I've been around the block before. I've flown freight for a bunch of different missions, and helium is one of my top 10 worst occult space elements.
The thing is, like, the idea of perpetual motion is such an evil idea, because it's like energy that doesn't end, so he knows that it's like, if you're defying the laws of physics, there must be something wrong with this element. Like, there has to be something wrong.
I think in a way the company, with the way it just burns and reuses human lives, has created a perpetual motion machine.
I think the company did nothing wrong, because, corporations are the lifeblood of the American space stream.
It was
the American
weird.
Space stream.
It was weird that the entire planet and space station was run by Mitt Romney and Bain Capital. Yeah, it was weird. It was weird that the company was just Bain Capital.
Bain Capital. I don't know if they knew that, but it seems like the logo was it was in the early 2000s, so it's very possible.
Yeah, but it was Bain Capital, but the logo also featured Mitt Romney wearing the Bane mask from Batman, which was very strange. Yeah. It was a weird it's a weird mashup.
Weird movie. Weird
there's different rights issues in in the other
Who
universe.
owns the rights to helium is the question, because it's an element.
I don't think wait, does helium actually exist?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Is this going to be a thing on the bonus features?
There's no way helium exists.
We do a Patreon spin-off.
Just
of
wait
the
2
show.
seconds, make sure helium doesn't exist.
Yeah, just double check that.
Do you mean helium? No, I mean helium, idiot.
No, Hellium-3. Helium-3. We do a Patreon bonus spin-off called Bonus Features, if you'd like.
Helium-3 mining a lunar surface. Oh, it's just an isotope of. It's just an. Don't worry. It's just an isotope of helium. It's fine.
Go isotopes.
Helium. No.
Albuquerque.
I'd send it to you, but after that whole Steam thing debacle, I don't want to send you another chart.
Yeah, no more charts, no more learning, no more education.
This show's not for education.
Stupid us.
It's for horrors. It's for
unfiltered.
Horrors.
This is the Unfiltered podcast.
Did you like when they had, like, when she went back and she said, everybody's like, "Oh, it's time for lunch," and she got really excited, and then like she like was eating all of those people? Like, did you hate that the most?
No, I liked pretty much everything in this movie.
I thought you hated.
Great.
I thought you hated people getting eaten.
Oh, in terms of grossness, I don't know. I think because it was a pretty lady doing the eating, I didn't know.
Oh, okay.
Is that another problem I have? Like sexy crocodiles?
She sat down and like it was like was it Blood Feast? Whatever that old horror movie is, Blood Feast or whatever, where they just eat people. He prepares a feast of people. Yeah.
Yuck. But no, I think in my head, I think one of the problems I had was that they clearly cast her for looks, and she looked like she had been like forcibly starved by the production staff. Like she looked anemic going into this movie. Like when they did her underwear scenes, she looked like dangerously thin. So I think when she was eating people, I was like, at least she's gaining some. At least they're allowing her to eat in this movie. Like I felt bad for her. That the people were like, "You need to lose 20 pounds, dear," and she's like, like, I mean, I always hate that Hollywood bullshit. Let's get some thick, curvy ladies in there. That's what I
Hellium-3. You want to be in Hellium-4, or you want to be gonna be a star?
No one in this movie became a star, unfortunately, except for her, who was literally jettisoned into a star that exploded. She sort of
she
became
became the ultimate star. Some would say.
She's a star.
A star is born. You would say.
A star is dead.
Stars,
But yeah, so they have to cut this. The asteroid has before the scientists all get hacked to bits or jettisoned into space by our hero.
Briscoe does kill a bunch of innocent people, right? Like, not on purpose, but like,
I mean, it depends on. It's like the zombie thing. It's like, is it still them when they're a zombie? They're basically, but
they did touch the element, so it's like they're going to turn eventually, right?
Briscoe, once the key scientists are already corrupted, and Briscoe has no way out of the situation.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he needs to get the helium, or he can't repower the ship and go home. In order, it's sort of an unwinnable situation, and it's like, so it's the thing where what makes it complicated is that when the people touch the helium, they still retain their own personality and thoughts 50% of the time. Right. It's just the other half
sort
of the
of
time.
Going insane. It's like they have syphilis.
Right. Well, it's like they're Mia in Resident Evil 7, where it's like half the time they're like, "Oh, I'm just your nice girlfriend," and half the time they're just like this ghoul, a groovy ghoulie, but a ghoulie nonetheless.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, so it's a little like that's why I kind of liked his attitude, because in a lot of movies there would be a lot of like morality dithering. Can we do this? Is it right? They're still in there. And Briscoe's like, what the fuck ever. I'm just like, he's so cynical based on which it's like he should be, because the situation he's in sucks. It sucks really bad. And so he learns from the scientists that they have to cut the tether that connects it's like an invisible would you say it's a metaphorical tether? Sort of, but it's also a infrared, like
it's also a very real infrared tentacle that you have to wear goggles to see.
Yeah, exactly. He has to put on these like stupid sci-fi goggles that allow him to get access to like another dimension, basically.
Well, he can't see.
It's like, what a stupid fucking device. Anyone who uses something like that, fucking stupid.
It's like so you can see gamma rays or something, because the tentacles exist, but only.
My god! I could hear Smash Trivia getting horny as soon as you said gamma rays.
Gamma rays not resulting in a She-Hulk, just
not resulting in big muscly dames who. It's starting to work on me too. I've spent too much time with him. Oh my god! Thinking about Shakespeare guys again. Oh boy!
He's thinking about Shakespeare.
Oh, prithee, She-Hulk, take me to thy loins. Oh. Okay, I'm done.
That's not my favorite Shakespeare.
Taming of the She-Hulk.
I prefer his blue comedies, not his green comedies.
A Midsummer's Night Green.
I would watch that.
So, I just want to think of Marvel Shakespeare mashes up. This is probably what Joss Whedon does between abusing actresses. Anyway, I guess it's hard to say whether. Yeah, I think he probably does kill some innocent people in there, but those innocent people.
Who's innocent, really? Who's innocent?
Well, they're half innocent. They're like half innocent, half tainted. So it's like if you know someone's going to become a demon that's going to kill you, and you don't have a cure for them, like
it's that old morality question. If you know someone is a space demon, or they're going to turn into a space demon, what do? Do you jettison them or not?
Well, my question to you is, I know we've said that, space is the briny deep, and it's sort of international waters, so to speak.
Yeah.
But do you think he was simply standing his ground?
I think the paperwork for what he did, he should just off himself now, because it's going to be like the amount of stuff he's going to have to do to explain the situation. I'm sure there's cameras and stuff, but Bain Capital, he essentially gets all the helium to run the ship, but then he jettisons all of those people once they're on. Like he got what they needed, but then he destroyed it. So he's going to go, I don't know, I assume to space jail. I assume.
Well, yeah, it's like this weird fucked up thing where he's like, he basically has
trap,
like an argument
essentially.
with the computer.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I need to use, they have like a super powered
which was
laser.
voiced by Billy Joel for some reason. That was
I don't understand. And they keep bringing that up as like featuring Billy Joel as the voice of, and computer's name is Emo. E.M.O. Electronic machine organism. And it was like
every second I was like, is he about to sing? Is this computer about to sing? And it never does. It's almost sings a bunch of times, but it never does.
Billy Joel not singing is honestly the reason why this movie is thankfully not that scary. It could have gotten really horrifying.
He sounded drunker than normal, which was weird.
I'd like to tell you about Billy the Kid. No, stop!
Stop
Make
it,
it stop! And so, that's another good thing. You don't have to look at Billy Joel. He's not on screen. So, he has this argument with Billy Joel's emo computer. Oh my god, that phrase. And he's basically like, if we use the mining laser to cut up this asteroid, I can use the the gravity gun to pull in a bunch of these things, and then we'll have enough. And so he does that. But then he keeps the mining laser on against the computer's wishes. He basically gives himself override privileges that only the captain would have, but he's like, I'm the captain now, in a proto-Captain Phillips kind of way. And, like, basically, tilts the ship in such a way, he creates sort of a Rube Goldberg device using all this mousetrap equipment in there, and he, like, tilts it so that the Hellium-3 falls into the ship's, like, almost like it's a steamship engine. It falls into the engine and powers it fuels the ship's mining laser, which allows them to cut this, like, infrared tether. And then he can collect the remaining, the stuff that's newly, like, non-demonified. And floating in space, and he grabs some of that, it powers him up, and he's allowed to go home. But the ship is, like, covered in blood. He's jettisoned everybody else. He's basically, like, fucked everything up, but he's also completed the mission. So, I mean, maybe he didn't. I don't know. So you think he's going to jail? 100%.
I think so. I think, I mean, he gets the helium, but then he jettisons it, I thought. That's what I thought.
All of it at the end? Because how would he get home at that point? I thought what he did was that he used the stuff they'd already collected to fuel the laser, and then collected the stuff, the broken stuff from the broken asteroid to give himself permission to fly home. Because without the helium, how would he be able to pilot the ship?
I thought he got the helium, then he tricked the computer to make it think the helium was still there, but I guess you're right. That doesn't make sense.
If the computer, because it could weigh and scan stuff. That's because I think what you're seeing and remembering seeing is a bunch of the helium floating around him. And
I thought they were going to, when they were, when they were charging him, then okay, I remember. That makes sense.
You know what I mean? Because like there's that shot of the ship flying away and all the helium behind it. Which I think is what you're saying is him jettisoning it, but I think that's but it was just the leftover shit that was out there.
So he's going back with the worst possible element. He's bringing it back. Okay, so maybe
he's bringing it back, but theoretically it's been cured of its tether. Not all helium is cured, but the stuff in there had been cut because from the tether. That was my understanding of it.
That makes sense.
So in my head, I don't know if he'd even be punished for all the deaths because I feel like
he completed his job. Yeah.
I think he might actually be court-martialed because he jettisoned the bodies rather than stacking them for processing.
Right. But he can say, like, oh, they were trying to, like, attack me or something like that.
Right, but I feel like the company would be like, we still could have used, even if they're corrupted, we still could have used them to create food cubes later.
Oh, that's true, because it is their property, technically. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe that's why Briscoe is so pissed off about this, because this is sort of like they are kind of slaves to the company, and maybe he's just like, fuck this, I don't care about anything.
I wonder, like, when he saw that like red shift of the sun after he jettisoned, what was her name? I don't remember her name. Sigourney
Sandra?
Weaver. Sandra Weaver. when he jettisons Sandra Weaver. Like, I wonder if he just takes. Well, the ship's going to go back to the company because it's pre-programmed. But yeah, man, they're fucked. They're all fucked.
I know they're fucked. That's the thing, is that he doesn't. He's the pilot, but he can't. His job is to steer around.
He's basically the autopilot. Yeah.
He's basically given. It's like the ship is on a GPS trajectory, but he can make, because space is so large. He can basically make. He has like maybe a mile of like maneuverability, like a sphere a mile wide that he can like move around shit, but like he can't change the overall vector of travel.
Between Sandra's solar flare jettison and him bringing back Hellium-3 to the asteroid belt, Earth, like the universe is fucked.
Right, yeah. I mean, the universe is fucked. Earth is definitely fucked because the helium definitely, it seemed to imply, because there's a cut to planet Earth, and there's a kid looking up, and they say, look, a shooting star. It's the middle of the day, and the parents squint and look up at this burning red thing coming to Earth.
And he says, make a wish, mommy. That was scary.
And then his nanny says, it's all for you, Damien.
Yeah, that was scary. So Hellium-4 is just a massacre of the universe, I guess?
No, it's Hellium-3 too.
Oh, Hellium-3 too. That makes sense.
That's the worst title ever.
Hellium-3
Hellium-3:2. And it should be called something like the Seventh Seal. Just to make it like really confused.
I just want to know what happens. I'm worried.
I kind of want to know what happens too. Maybe we'll do it as a bonus feature someday.
Nah.
If there's a sequel out there. If you want more episodes and see what it's like really in the alternate dimension, where we actually go to the alternate dimension into the video store, the Mammoth Video outside, and meet all sorts of crazy characters like a talking hologram, and see Kolar on drugs, go onto our Patreon and you'll get access to a bunch of episodes. We got some really fun stuff on there. And if you got an idea for Made Up Movies, hit at Made Up Movies Pod on Twitter and submit a 1-sentence summary of the movie with the title. And Kolar, how many cosmic cubes?
How many Helium-3s do I give this?
Yeah, how many Heliums? Helium, Patreon.
3 Heliums. 3 Heliums. Out of 3 Heliums, to be fair.
The perfect 3 out of 3. Great. 3 out of 3. I agree with that. Okay, that's all for this time from Shorzy and the Meatball. So let's
Shorzy and Meatball in the morning.
Shorzy and Meatball in the morning.
You guys have a great drive to work. We'll see you soon.
It's drive time, baby. I mean, imagine if you are listening to this on your drive to work and you're like, thanks, guys. I hate my job. It's going to
be a good day. I just drove an hour to work.
I got a feeling tonight's going to be a bad work. All right. Bye, everybody. We love you. Bye.